Manchester United need a new goal scorer this summer, and there isn't anyone more prolific than Viktor Gyokeres. I mean, literally, he's leading Europe's Golden Boot race. Now, United know the price for Gyokeres and how much it will cost, but there is one big elephant in the room that we need to talk about. This is how United can sign Gyokeres this summer, and this is likely the only way that it happens. Yes, people, let's have a conversation here about Gyokeres, and it may well be the only conversation that we have, depending what happens against Spurs in Bilbao on Wednesday. I want to have a conversation, I want to chat about him. I think Liam Delap is United's main target, but is there a possibility that United could sign both? I just want to talk about it. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I think this is the only way that it can happen. Let's have a conversation. We now know that Gyokeres, he's got a price tag of 65 million euros max. That's what Fabrizio Romano said. Basically, the long story of it, long and short story, is he's got a 100 million euro release clause, I believe. But an agreement with Sporting that he can leave for less than that because he's stayed at the club in January. He stayed at the club during the summer. He's now, I suppose, done his time at Sporting. That's kind of the wrong way to describe it, but is ready to leave and the club is ready to let him leave. He's staying coy as any... Remember when like Ronaldo was like, only God knows? That's exactly what that falls into. But I think the only way that United have a chance of signing Gyokeres is with this final on Wednesday. And this is what I mean about probably why I can only speak for myself here. I can't speak for all United fans, but why I'm so nervous going into this game, because it's not just a Europa League final. It really is the definer about what happens in the next 12 months of our football club, about what can happen in the summer. And Gyokeres is absolutely tied into that. Now, I loved it when Amrim said this, when he was kind of quizzed directly about Gyokeres and about whether United were in talks with him or wanted to sign him. And that sentence there, that we want players to represent United, not players who want to play certain competitions. So the idea that Gyokeres is sitting there waiting to see if United get in the Champions League to then decide whether or not he wants to join us is the opposite of what Amrim wants. But more realistically, I think, is the fact that financially, I don't think there's a chance in hell of United signing Gyokeres unless we are in the Champions League. So both of these two... It's almost like the club is waiting. That's what it feels like to me anyway. We'll find out. I'll speak about Liam Delap in a little bit. But it feels like United is waiting to find out what goes on with the Europa League final before they make a push for Gyokeres. Now, as far as Gyokeres goes, as far as goal scorers go, he's literally number one. So there's probably going to be some United fans that are concerned the idea that Gyokeres is our number one target simply because he's a Sporting player and Ruben Amorim he's played under Ruben Amorim before. If that was the only reason we were going after him, then I'd be concerned. But he's also the most prolific goal scorer that there is in Europe's top five. Well, not even top five leagues. You can see the coefficient there, 1.5. That's why he's weirdly got half a point more than Mbappe, but he's got 10 more goals than Mbappe. Of course, Mbappe's been playing in La Liga, which is more difficult. But I said this back, and this is kind of the reason I'm doing this video, right? I said this back towards the end of April. You can see the date down there, 29th of April. I said, I can't help but feel if United win the Europa League that there is a genuine chance that we sign both Gyokeres and Delap, which might sound like fantasy land to some United fans. I can semi-understand that because maybe part of it is fantasy land. But Hojlund is part of that conversation. I judge every United player at the end of their second season. If at the end of their second season, if in their second season, I've seen development, progress on what I saw in the first season and they're heading in the right direction, then I think they deserve a third season. But with Hojlund, everything that we saw in the first season has disappeared. He is unfortunately melted under the pressure of, and I feel this is where I feel sorry for him, of being literally the only goal-scoring option that we've got at this football club. And no 22-year-old should ever have that sort of burden and spotlight at Manchester United. He should always have been second choice behind an established goal scorer who had been there and done it in top leagues for a few years, and then Hojlund is there to learn from him. I think in that environment, Hojlund would have been a lot better, but in the second year, he's faded. I think there's a possibility now, and I suppose it depends. It's not even how ruthless United are, it's how capable United are. Because right now, we're holding talks with Liam Delap. Laurie Whitwell's confirmed it yesterday. Face-to-face talks have happened with Liam Delap. We know exactly what the Liam Delap situation is. Ipswich are relegated. There's a £30 million release clause. We're going to want him. Chelsea are going to want him. Newcastle are going to want him. So you're going to see stories like this about face-to-face talks coming up with Liam Delap and all of those clubs. He's just doing the rounds, seeing what the projects are like, and then probably waiting to find out what goes on in the Champions League, the Europa League with United. But truth be told, I don't think with Liam Delap, that's going to be a defining reason as to whether he joins or not. It's whether he believes in the project. And I do think the signing of Cunha makes these conversations with Liam Delap easier because we are building a team. And that's why, go back to it again, like just how nervous I am for this final. We've had false dawns before. We've had, I remember Ten Hag's first season where he was just winning nuts amount of games, and we had the League Cup. And I remember I was there at Wembley. I was like, this feels like the biggest chance that we've got of a genuine rebuild. And then obviously the next 2-3 months, we faded away at the end of that season. And then that summer, we went in the wrong direction and it all went tits up from there. Ruben Amorim has not had the best of starts in the league. But call it deluded if you want. I really do feel that it's player quality letting him down, and I can see what he's trying to achieve, but with the tools that he's got, it's just not possible. And I don't think if Ruben Amorim was being honest and open, he'd probably come out and say, yeah, well, Gyokeres would be my ideal striker, because why wouldn't he be? He has played under his system before. He knows it inside out, and he knows how good he is, and he is that powerful off-the-ball runner. He can create chances himself. He can run the channels, and he can, most importantly, put the ball in the back of the net. 39 times this season, to be precise. So it just feels to me like the only way that United have any chance of signing Gyokeres is if we win the Europa League on Wednesday. And I think if we win the Europa League on Wednesday, I kind of stand by what I say there. I think there's a possibility that United will try 3 things. 1, to sign Gyokeres. 2, to sign Delap. And 3, to probably loan Rasmus Hojlund out for a full season with an option or an obligation, probably back to Serie A, and effectively cut their losses. I don't think they'll be able to sell Hojlund this summer because of the amortization cost. We think 5 years, 72 mil. You break that down, what's that? 5 times 13? 50 plus 15 is 65. 14. Thereabouts. Per year. I think United need to sell him for something like 40 to 50 million-ish to cover the cost of what it would be. So that's just impossible. So loaning him out makes sense. I don't think I can look past Gyokeres as the best choice. People can argue about Osman if they want. But I think if I was playing Football Fantasy Manager and I had all the money in the world, I'd probably go Gyokeres this summer. Gyokeres and Cunha and Delap, and then I'd loan Rasmus Hojlund out. And then, wow, does United's attack look different next season? Now, you can let me know what you think in the comments. Am I just in fantasy land here? What do you think there is actually a possibility if we win the Europa? And if we don't win the Europa, I think any Gyokeres conversation just fades away. I don't think there's any chance we sign him. Let me know what you think.